Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale, up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed. Limited time. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's rock! Go!
All right, welcome in. Hour number 3 after further review. Obviously, technical difficulties, some bad weather in the Baton Rouge area. Has us in a bit of a bind while we try to reconnect with Matt over there at the South Stadium Club at Tiger Stadium. I'm going to carry you here for a couple segments on Wednesday's show presented by Goodwood. Of course, it's that time of year. College football is here. That's when our guy Russ Mitchell comes out of hibernation. He is doing that with us here today. We'll get to Russ here right now.
Russ Mitchell.
Kicking the tires and lighting the fires.
Russ!
Literally.
Well, I'm proud of Russ. I think Russ deserves it.
It's football!
Rusty, come on up here.
Absolutely, I thought that was going to happen because it's state. It's supposed to happen.
You know, I haven't had much of a chance to talk to you man to man, Russ.
How are things out there at DBU?
I want you to stay here and take care of things, Russ.
The only way you can point up is up.
Not going in our yard, Russ. It's going in our living room.
Just like Troy.
Can't see the line, can you, Russ?
Put your foot on his throat and choke him out.
Take it, Russ.
That's the sound of football season. Russ, how's it going?
Moose, good to hear your voice, kid. I understand you got some bad weather out there.
Yeah, it's horrible outside actually right now, Russ. Like, if we can hear it in this studio, what's happening outside, that's not good. And we've heard plenty of thunder throughout the last, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 minutes of the show. It's been pretty crazy. Been pretty crazy for sure.
When the weather gets bad, you need yourself some good parish construction and roofing.
Oh.
That's what you need.
This is the weather for that. I'm sure they'll be getting plenty of calls here. And it's rained for the last 3 days, Russ. I mean, it's summer in Baton Rouge. Do you know how this works? I mean, you spent plenty of time here. So
I do indeed.
We're in the rainy season. So it's been rough. But football right around the corner, 10 days from now, LSU will open their season against Clemson. I know we have a lot to go through here in the next 2 segments. Russ is destined to break the SEC back into division. So we're going to do everything west of Alabama here in the first segment, Russ, and then everything Alabama and east in the next segment.
Sounds good.
All right.
I mean, it's 16 teams, kid. That's like way too many teams. So, if we're going to have that many, we got to figure out a way to split them up. So we'll do west of Alabama, and we'll save those other schools for the second segment.
All right, obviously we're going to want plenty of thoughts from you on LSU, but let's start with Texas because they're super intriguing as well. Obviously, Arch Manning, right? Everyone's caught up in the hype, but that's a team that was in the playoff a year ago, won a game, another semifinal appearance for Texas before bowing out, and they're the number 1 team in the country right now preseason, so it seems only fair to start over there on the 40 acres.
Yeah, I'm not at all sold on Texas, actually. I think, and everyone wants to talk about Arch Manning. This team's not about Arch Manning. It's about the defense. It's arguably the best defense in the country. So that's the very first thing that you should know and be talking about when it comes to the Longhorns. I think that when it comes to coaches, there's no better offensive mind in football, period, than Sark, and that will definitely help Arch. But the real issue with this Texas team is, can this defense, it's a lot of pressure on this defense. The running back game has to deliver for Texas, and right now I'm not sure. The offensive line is tremendously inexperienced. had some early injury concerns with, a starter who got knocked out for the season with a torn ACL. So in Andre Codot. So I got to tell you, I think that this is a Texas team that I wouldn't put that far above either Alabama, LSU, or Georgia.
Why aren't you sold on Arch Manning? It seems like everyone's kind of on one end of the scale there, Russ, where they're either all in, they think he's going to rewrite SEC record books like a guy like Paul Feinbaum does, or they're kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum where it's like, yeah, let's wait and see.
Let's let the kid play a couple games first. And like I said, if I had to pick one coach, one offensive mind in America, and, it's not by accident that a guy with that pedigree ends up at Texas, because I'd want Sarkisian. He does a better job of pre-snap attention and putting his quarterback in the right position and calling the right plays. So I expect Arch Manning to have a really good season. But it's just as much about, can this offensive line gel? There's 5 new kids that they're all trying to, mix and match on this Texas Longhorn offense, and I'm not completely sold that that's going to work. The running back group, I'm not completely sold that they're going to be able to deliver very well. Plus, they struggled last year. They struggled in short yardage. They struggled in the red zone, running the ball. We're talking about. They struggled on the road running the ball, and they're on the road at Ohio State. They're on the road in the swamp. They're on the road between the hedges. So, it's not just about Arch Manning. It's not just about this fantastic defense. It's about can these and even at wide receiver, they lost their 2 best wide receivers to the NFL.
Yeah.
So they got some guys in the portal, but there's a lot about this team beyond Arch Manning. And I don't think there's that big of a gap between Texas and Georgia, LSU, and Alabama.
What separates then? If there's not that big of a gap, what is your kind of separating factor with a team like Texas? Russ, I could ask you about their schedule, but it's the same schedule they had a year ago. It wasn't difficult then. Now they've just flipped home and away on that. So, you expect them to kind of, make their way through that fine again. What are you looking for to have that separating between Texas and the rest of the top of the SEC?
Yeah, well, the thing that right away that stands out is this defense is ridiculous. You've got 7 defensive starters. You've got, All-Americans. It kind of reminds me in those years where, who was it? LSU had Dorsey was an All-American on the front line. Wasn't Ali Highsmith an All-American? And Peterson in the secondary, right? They've got Simmons, they've got Hill, and they've got All-Americans at every level of depth, from the front 4 all the way to the very back. So, and they're returning. This is depth across the board for the Texas defense, and that's why you would probably give them a slight nudge. But really, I have it again: Texas, LSU, Alabama, and Georgia. You can almost flip a coin amongst those 4.
Let's go to LSU. Give me your just overview on the Tigers so we can get a little deeper.
Yeah, again, there's no question marks about Garrett. If you'd had this much talent, what a great job that Kelly has done amassing talent since the end of the last season. Everybody outside of Baton Rouge is waiting to see whether or not he can put it all together, right? Because if you just look at the roster, if you look at the amount of talent that he's amassed, if you'd had this much talent in 2023, you might have won a national championship with Daniels as your quarterback, right? So the question is, can you really put it together? Can the receiving core, can you keep guys healthy? Can Hilton, can Anderson, who missed all of last season in Oklahoma, can he stay healthy? I think that you've done a great job bringing in first-level talent. I still think that there's depth issues. For example, even on the front 4, there's depth issues once you get past the second line. But I like what Kelly has amassed. I think it's been a long time since LSU's had this much talent on the roster.
concern level for the offensive line, Russ, with LSU?
Well, I mean, it starts with, first of all, replacing so many starters. Only 4 returning starters on the offense and only 4 returning starters on the defense. Again, I really am excited about the kids that you went out and got. But if you look at the past 8 national, did you see CBS Sports? Nagel wrote a great piece where he was talking about if you look at the last 8 national champions, they've all had at least 11 returning starters. And in this world we live in, I know it's a different world with the portal and so many kids move back and forth. There's only 4 of the top 10 teams that Vegas has with a chance to win the national championship. Only 4 have 11 or more returning starters. Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, and Penn State. That's it. So, if I'm LSU, yes, I'm concerned about only having 1 returning guy on the offensive line, but I'm concerned about not having very many returning starters, period.
It's been the storyline so far of camp. Here, Russ, hold tight. I'm going to throw you back to Scone, and he can take you the rest of the way.
Scone.
All right.
Oh,
we're back. I don't know if Russ can even hear me because he called from studio. We're in remote. So here's what's going to happen. I don't know what we're in Tiger Stadium. Massive weather event just happened here. Knocked us offline. Shout out to Bo Wegman who got us reconnected. We're going to grab a break. We're going to come back. I'll figure out what Moose and Russ were talking about, and we'll finish that conversation when we come back. It's a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm at Tiger Stadium, y'all. Don't you move. More with Russ Mitchell next.
AFR.
Got to remind you about Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area, Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell. Springs tell you every day to buy local and shop local because for 6 decades, Clegg's Nursery has been serving the greater Baton Rouge area. Hey, y'all, fall is here. It's time to plant your fall vegetable gardens. Get those Johnny Naylor seeds in the ground. This is the time. The fall vegetable plants, awesome activity for the entire family. Get outside with the kiddos, get your hands in the dirt. And by the way, garden-to-table or farm-to-table vegetables are awesome. They're so fresh, so delicious, and you could do it at your own home. So buy local and shop local over at Clegg's Nursery. Hey, listen, there's 4 locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. Fall bedding plants are here. Add that pop of color. And just ask our friends at Clegg's for help. They're awesome. So buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Back from Tiger Stadium, the South Stadium Club, the NILSU Max event going down tonight. Actually, here in about 45 minutes, they'll open the doors. Again, if you're a business owner, local, regional, national, you're an entrepreneur, interested in learning more about NIL deals with LSU student-athletes, come to this event. It is not open to the public, per se, but it is open to business owners, entrepreneurs. Come to this event in South Stadium Club in Tiger Stadium. Cocktail hour starting at 6. The program will start about 6:30. All the coaches will be here. Brian Kelly, Jay Johnson, Matt McMahon, Kim Mulkey. They'll all be here. And you come hear from the coaches and learn more about the importance of this NIL program happening right now. Russ Mitchell out of hibernation. They teased us. And then, of course, the weather, God with the weather, just snatched you away from me for those first 10 minutes. But how are you, man?
Brother, kicking tires, lighting fires. Good to hear your voice.
You too, man.
Good to hear your voice, baby.
We got to get into it, though. We don't have time for pleasantries, so let's get back into it. Okay, Ole Miss, they bought a giant roster last year, and Lane Kiffin choked it away. Are they going to be any good this year?
Yeah, I mean, I have them in the second tier. I don't have them up in that tier where you've got LSU, Alabama, Texas, Georgia. There's just a few too many question marks there. If you're thinking about them on defense, so much roster turnover, particularly in the secondary. They lost 3 interior linemen to the NFL draft. You don't just replace that quickly. I like them, and I got a lot of faith in Simmons. I think he's going to be really good. The redshirt sophomore who's now the signal caller there. But, and I think that they'll still continue to perform. And I love Golding. He's now the highest paid assistant in the SEC, $2.5 million a year as their defensive coordinator. But too much to turn over on that defensive side of the ball for the Rebels.
Oklahoma is fascinating, Russ. Vegas has them over under at 7.5 wins, which I think they're a 7-5 football team. But man, the media loves John Mateer. I tell you, go bring a quarterback from Washington State and bring his offensive coordinator, and all of a sudden, boom, Heisman. They're going to be in the playoff. All this stuff. Where do you land on the Sooners?
Well, it is the most overrated team in football right now, man. It is so silly how
it is so good to talk to a
is.
Rational human again.
Look, I mean, it's talk about people are saying, "Oh, the quarterback's untested in the SEC." Dude, he's untested in college football. Period. Right? I mean, he was playing in a team last year that, like, the whole conference only had one other school, and not only that, his offensive coordinator's not even 30. 5 years ago, he was coaching in high school, and they're saying, it's like, come on, man, tap the brakes just a tiny bit, just a bit. Plus, they've got the road schedule might be easy-ish, but they've got at Bama, Michigan, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and South Carolina. Come on, man.
Schedule's brutal.
Brutal.
A brutal schedule. All right. At Russ Mitchell CFB, give him a follow. You know where I fall on Bama. You and I were doing live radio when Nick Saban retired, and it has been just a celebration and rubbing their mediocrity in Alabama fans' face for a year and a half for me now, and I've loved it. I loved it every minute. I think they're a 9-3 football team again this year. Do you think there's a bounce back for Kalen DeBoer?
No, I think that if they had a little more experience at quarterback instead of Ty Simpson. And again, I think Ty will be pretty good, that, especially with Proctor there on the offensive line anchoring that. But they still lost 41 departures, right? I mean, they continue to have a lot of turnover. They have stability and experience, 14 returning starters at the first level, but, and good coaching, explosive first team offensive weapons. But, there's a lot of question marks. And if you were really thinking this could be a team that could be, could go from 9-3 to 11-1 or even 10-2, you'd want the special teams to have a little bit more certainty. And they're really unsettled and unproven in the special teams. So no, I think 9-3 is probably what you're going to get.
I don't like that you and I agree so much. Where do you fall on Georgia?
I'm not really sold on Georgia. I've got Georgia, Texas, LSU. We were talking about this while you were off the air, but Texas and LSU, I don't have a number one team in the SEC. I've got those four in that upper tier. And, Georgia, if you want one word for the Bulldogs, it's young. They're really young. A lot of turnover in the roster, defensive linemen, defensive backs. Maybe to the NFL, that's great, but also to transfer. They have a difficult early season at Tennessee, Alabama, Florida. And, again, this is a wide receiver core. It's an offense that led the country in drops in 2024. And now a new quarterback, they brought in some good wide receivers in the portal, Branch and Thomas. If you asked me to pick one team in the SEC, I'd still pick Georgia over Texas. But, I really don't want to. I'd put all four of those, including the Tigers, LSU Tigers. I'd put all four of those in that same group.
Georgia's getting the benefit of the doubt because of the logo, and maybe Kirby's earned it, but he even told us at Media Days it's the youngest team he's ever coached, and generally does not like to have that much youth. And who's really sold on quarterback at Georgia right now either? Everybody in this league has massive questions. I'd say the same about Florida. People are really high, Russ, on DJ Lagway. but my goodness, can he stay healthy? And he was, his stats a year ago basically mirrored Michael Van Buren's at Mississippi State. So, is what we saw in the final month of the season from Florida a bit of a mirage, or are they really turning the corner there under Sunbelt Billy?
No, I'm not sold on Florida at all. In fact, I have them in the third tier. They're rebuilding across a ton of places. Yeah. Offensive line, linebacker, they had turnovers in their staff. Lagway's great, but he doesn't play offensive line. He doesn't play defense. They have one of the worst schedules again in the SEC. So I'm not sold. In fact, I didn't even preview Florida. They literally I previewed for this show. I previewed 9 teams. I didn't even have Florida in the top 9.
You have 2 asterisks next to Florida on the text you sent me.
I know, but I took them off. As I was going through my notes, I was like, these guys don't even deserve to be in the top 8.
All right. I'm fascinated to know what you're going to think about South Carolina, and if you and I agree here as well, because the media at media days made Lenore Sellers. I'm not
expecting much.
Okay. Well, you and I agree there as well. Give me your rundown.
First of all, look at the schedule: LSU, Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee. How good do you think this team is, really? There's a reason why Missouri has won 10 games in the last 2 years. It's because they've had the easiest schedule ever. By the way, they have another easy schedule this year. So, I really like Lenore. I think he's special, and he's got a great smile, and he's good on TV and all those things. But there's massive concerns on the offensive line for this team. Still, they allowed more pressure. They were barely in the top 100 in protecting the quarterback last year. So, significant defensive turnover over last year's breakout performance, and arguably, next to State, the toughest SEC schedule on the block. So, I don't think that you can expect the 4 wins over ranked teams that they did last year. By the way, that was a school record. 4 wins over ranked teams in a season. That was a school record for South Carolina.
By the way, Russ, Vegas also has South Carolina's over-under at 7.5. I was
going to say 7.5.
These are 7, maybe 8 win football teams.
Tennessee is, I think, the most underrated team in the SEC.
Okay, why?
I think that they still have a strong defensive identity. Dominic Bailey's a stud that's, anchored. I think because of everything that happened at the quarterback position, Nico leaving, I think that just created. But Aguilar is good. He's got a ton of experience. He did a lot of really successful things at App State. I think he's going to come over. They'll be solid there. Switching to running back by committee, they did that in 2022, and it worked great for Hubel. So, I think he'll just roll that out again.
And it's not
Hupel. I did.
Did you just call him Hupel?
I did. 5 years he's been there. 5 years he's had Banks, and 3 years he's had Joey as the offensive coordinator. Gosh. Hupel.
He called him Josh Hupel. Why would you do that?
Because I'm moving fast here, man. You've got me trying to cram a 2-hour show into how many minutes you got me here?
We got 2 more minutes. Okay. Who do you think wins the SEC?
I'm unprepared to pick. I think it's Texas and LSU. I think those are the 2 teams that it comes out of.
Who wins?
I like LSU.
That's my exact pick, as a matter of fact. And you and I did not talk about this, but that was my exact pick. Was Texas? Was LSU beating Texas?
It just comes down to the offensive line, and they gel fast enough, and all this NFL talent that Kelly has brought together. Can it play together? I'm sure they're all great,
yes,
but can they play together as a team? If they do, LSU with Nussmeier as a quarterback. By the way, there's a third thing. Can we Can LSU stay healthy? Because like I'm going down the list of all the keys that I have for LSU. It's 4 pages, and it's like Perkins injured last year, Weeks injured last year, Hilton injured last year, Anderson injured last year. Like, I mean, seriously, can you go get Moffitt back from A&M and make these kids eat more food and put them in the weight room?
I will say this has been the healthiest, knock on wood, but the healthiest camp that I've ever seen. Aside from one a slight hamstring pull by Jakeem Jackson and a jammed finger by Michael Van Buren, they have been remarkably healthy. And it would be great to see him stay as such throughout the season.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
How does the third string defensive line look? Like the not the kids that you brought in, but how does because if you look at the great LSU teams in the front seven,
they look
like you remember when they were rotating in like 14 kids, like how good does that defensive line look?
Really good.
Good.
Really good.
That's good. That makes me feel good.
I know. It's one of those things, Russ, when you go look at it, you're like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to look. And it hadn't looked like that in a while. So they spent a lot of money. It should look that good. And hopefully that they'll tailor it together and they'll go on a nice run this year. All right, we got to go. We're looking forward to doing this football season again. Next week, we'll be previewing week 1. Hopefully you're impressed by somebody at that point.
I'm awake.
Welcome back from your hibernation. We'll talk next week.
Thank you, brother.
That is Russ Mitchell, College Football News. It's After Further Review, brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020. You want to see 2020? Call 924-2020. Remember, parents, get your children's eye exam. If you haven't done it yet, the beginning of school is always a great benchmark on the calendar to remind you to go get your child's eye exam. Williamson Eye Center. They got 8 locations all over Greater Baton Rouge. You could book it at williamsoneye.com, williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. And as always, you want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, the Williamson Eye Center, they have a refractive procedure no matter what your refractive issue. williamsoneye.com. That's williamsoneye.com. Okay, it's After Further Review. We're here at South Stadium Club and Tiger Stadium. The NILSU Max event beginning in 30 minutes from right now. Doors open. The cocktail hour will begin. And then around 6:30, about 1 hour from right now, is when the program itself begins. You're a business owner. You want to learn more about NIL opportunities with LSU student-athletes, come to this event. Come to this event here in South Stadium Club. We'll look forward to seeing you here. All right, quick break, and we'll continue. Zach Greenwell will be with us next on AFR.
AFR.
GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions. At Glow Resources, remember, they have their professional placement division. I say it all the time, but Glow Resources, they don't want you if you're looking for a job, don't call them. They'll find you. If you're a business owner looking for the right people in your business, you need Glow Resources. They specialize in, if it's office administration, with their professional placement division, executive level assistants, assistant controllers, plant managers, scheduling assistants, basically any type of office job, accounting, HR, marketing, managerial, supervisor roles. They do it all, and they'll move quickly based on your timeline. If it's hard to fill roles, it doesn't matter. If you're the owner, the VP, the ops manager, the hiring manager, and you need help finding the right people to make your business more efficient, you need Glow Resources, and they can help you anywhere. Baton Rouge Company was looking for an engineer. They found the employee in Florida to do work in California. They're the best. They're Glow Resources.
After Further Review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
We're rolling along here in hour number 3. Glad to have you aboard. Jimmy's not with us today. He's on a plane, but Otter Locks are live at louisianasports.net. If you want to get them there, they're always free, louisianasports.net. We're here in Tiger Stadium, South Stadium Club. What's turning into a gorgeous evening after the rain has passed. What a view up here. Zach Greenwell joins us, Senior Associate AD for External Affairs out at LSU. Again, like with Taylor, that's not going to fit all on the business card. Thank you for coming by. What does that mean?
A little bit of everything right now in this new world. We were talking a minute ago, like Chief Comms Officer is on the end of that title too, and right now, that's a pretty small amount of what I do, just because we're living in this new world. Obviously, that's everything that's within the brand. I know we're going to talk about that a little bit, the awesome space we have downstairs, all of our external-facing folks who work in creative and comms and all of that, but also the way it blends into this new model. That's a big part of my time right now. Rev share, true NIL, how we can leverage what we do. I know you talked a little bit about that creative downstairs and how they can be part of this and work with corporate sponsors. So kind of how all of that melds and we evolve all of this heading into kind of this new era.
Yeah, it's when Mary Claire Logue was with us in hour one, if you didn't hear it, the executive director of NIL LSU Max. And one of the things I didn't know was if a business does a brand deal with an LSU athlete through NIL LSU Max, that space is available to them for their creative, which that. By the way, just as I can speak to it as a business owner. I'm an equity partner in Parish Construction and Roofing. Like, there's a large expense in producing content for ads for a lot of businesses.
Yeah, both in terms of space and if you're going to freelance out the actual bodies to do the creative. And that's something that, to be totally honest, we have the luxury of having the staffing to be able to accommodate that. I know a lot of places, my colleagues would love to be able to have their creatives and more involved in that, but they have smaller staffs and they're really deep in just the team needs on the day-to-day. But we're very blessed here to have people who really believe in the brand power of this, and we've got people understanding that if they want to be involved in where this business is going and be able to show their value and their worth, there's no better way to do it than be tied to helping these athletes build their brand and help them drive more dollars through NIL.
We've used the word brand, and we know when we say the brand, that's actually an entity that you all launched earlier this year. For those that don't remember, might have missed it, or wondering, like, when we say the brand, we're not just using that flippantly. Like, I guess it's not an LLC, but it's an entity here. It's titled the brand. Why don't you explain what's all under that umbrella?
Yeah, so everything really from a brand building, communications, I'll just tell you who all is in it, I guess. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Communications, social media, photo, video, graphic design, NILSU is obviously housed in there, marketing, broadcast operations. Pretty much anything that's going to elevate the brand of LSU is housed within that. Obviously, a lot of those groups previously worked together, but something we really heard a lot was that those groups wanted to feel like they were driving in one direction. Some of them were separated by geography. They were in different buildings. Having everybody now downstairs in one cohesive space, it's been renovated. It's beautiful down there. It's turned into the main hub for recruiting. That's been really, really nice to see. Not just with, our sports outside of football. Football actually is coming over here. They did their official visits this summer over here in the brand. They did their photo shoots over there. Football teams don't come out of their facilities very often. So I took that as a really, really good sign that they saw the value. They could do that down here. They could enjoy the stadium. But, all of that falls under that umbrella, and all the big things that happen in the LSU sphere, right? Like, Paul Skeens is on the cover of a video game. Somebody's at an award show. All these things that aren't also just wins and losses. We wanted a way to be able to funnel those into something to show the true brand power. And it's been great. It's been catching on. There's been a ton of buy-in from athletes and from our staff.
Do you think – I really think there was this seminal moment and I know you weren't here in 2019 with the football team when they had the hype videos. And that whole season was this just giant wave of momentum. But from that moment, it was like, I mean, you had more people watching those hype videos on a Thursday than were watching like network TV at 7 p.m. I mean, it's insane when you think about the eyeballs, but that maybe exposed the opportunity, the real opportunity there. That's never really stopped. So, I mean, you talk about Paul Skeens, who's no longer an LSU student-athlete, but being on the cover of a video game is something that LSU still capitalize on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we sell that nonstop. These athletes now want to know how they can be a well-rounded person and how they can be bigger than just the sport. We are the best in the country at being able to show them how you can be successful beyond just what happens in college sports and how we'll set you up for that. There's no doubt that that's a big selling piece now.
Zach Greenwell is with us here, Senior Associate AD for External Affairs. I do want to talk about the NIL rev share space, which is why we're here, why this event is happening here tonight. So from your seat, why is this event here tonight important?
Well, I think you heard Taylor and Mary Claire say it earlier. I caught a little bit of what they were able to talk about. Going forward, beyond the rev share cap, which I know Taylor described a little bit at $20.5 million, what you can do beyond that in the true NIL space for your athletes is going to be the true edge in this going forward. So, and I, just to kind of break it down, we were talking a little about this. It's a little convoluted this year because you really have a lot of different buckets of compensation for athletes. Some of these athletes still have deals with the collective, with Bayou Traditions that predate kind of the June 30th date when the clearinghouse and all of that kicked in. They ended by that date, but obviously they were paid moving forward into this season.
So I'm sorry to interrupt, but if a student athlete had a deal with the collective that was to pay them out over 3 years, hypothetically, will that money still go to those student athletes from the collective or no?
Yes, but traditionally, I'm telling you, those deals were set to end on June 30th.
Got it.
Any deals that were completed or executed before the House settlement went into place and that the payments ended before June 30th did not count against your revenue sharing cap, did not have to go through the NIL clearinghouse.
Got it.
So when you maybe heard maybe the mad dash that a lot of people referred to as front loading.
Front loading, yes.
In many cases, that's what people were trying to do. So obviously, we have a lot of those deals with athletes that ran through Bayou Traditions. You have revenue sharing. You have true NIL coming into place. That's a lot of different streams for athletes this year. The athletes may not see it as that. They're looking at their overall sum.
Yeah.
But that's a lot to juggle. And obviously the true NIL piece is not guaranteed. That's not legal still. But we can make projections on fair market value and try to gauge what somebody might be worth. And then obviously Mary Claire and Clay Harris and that whole group, they have their own goals as well to externally help with this. And beyond what they can bring from a corporate part with Playfly, Taylor Jacobs, Kiva Soil, all of those people are still heavily involved too in trying to bring these deals to life. So that is a lot to juggle right now, but that's kind of the goal. How do you take all those pieces, look at one overall picture, kind of what a payroll overall looks like for the 25-26 season?
You want to disclose what that number is?
I don't. Good try. Nice try.
What if we play higher or lower?
Oh man!
No. Remember the yodeler on Price is Right? Like, how close are you? The yodel's up the hill.
I promise you, the people I work with are going to sense I'm talking about it and come drag me out of here. But
but explain why though. Okay, so everyone can spend 20.5. What you're saying is your ability to spend over that is where the competitive advantages will come.
But getting back to this a bit, that was your initial question. I guess I don't know. Did you all talk about the clearinghouse earlier a little bit? Just kind of the mechanics of it, and obviously what that's a big piece in terms of what has to go through there, and looking at a valid business purpose and the fair range of compensation. So collective deals, as we know it, gone. Over with. Obviously, there's still some look at can collectives potentially maybe do some stuff if they tweak how they operate and they kind of operate in a more realistic fashion. That's kind of still to be decided. But where you're going to have your true edge is getting corporate partners who have true deliverables, true marketing dollars to put behind it, and getting them to have enough buy-in to want to work with these athletes. And that's a matchmaking process. That's seeing it through. That's working with agents. And, I think this event tonight is going to be great, and it's a good chance for them to hear just how important this is for them, but also, the benefits they can get. You mentioned our creatives and how they can do that. They get Mary Claire's staff and them handling all of the clearinghouse stuff and working through the marketing piece with them. So, I don't think it's a one-way street where a lot of these things maybe have been in the past. The athletes have probably had a little bit of an unrealistic view of just what corporate America and the free market is. But we really feel like in this market with all of the corporate backing behind LSU, both sides can really benefit from this.
Do you see it starting to maybe settle or normalize a little bit, those numbers?
I think we're still learning what that market is going to be. There is going to be, just to be totally honest, there's going to be a little bit of a reckoning next year, mentioning that front load, of, with that not on the table next year, what does the market look like, right? I don't know that everybody can fully make that up in true NIL, but I think we have to see just how far you're able to provide opportunity beyond that. So I think it's going to take a little bit of time into this year for us to actually kind of see the market stabilize and see can teams, can programs, can sports get past the pressure of where we were and stabilize to what the market actually is.
Yeah. If we're short on time, but if a business owner is hearing us, maybe they can't make it here tonight for this event, but they're interested. They want to do more, learn more. What do they do?
Reach out to Mary Claire and Taylor with NILSU through all of our social channels. Go on to LSUsports.net. You can seek out both Mary Claire's NILSU Max and the Play-Fi opportunities, but also still getting, like I said, with our NILSU staff. All of us are pulling in the same direction. The goal out of all of this is to increase the monetization for athletes as much as we can. We're doing that in a lot of ways. It's the brand, it's these deals. Everybody's pulling in the same direction because that's how we get the most elite players. That's how we win.
Yeah, it's a fascinating time. You've always, to win at the highest level, you've always had to have resources.
Yeah.
But those resources typically were paying the best coaches and facilities. And it's just, there's a new bucket now. And you got to be able to maximize it.
And it all matters. Those things still matter.
Yeah.
Your tradition, your relationships, they truly do matter. They have to go hand in hand with the money now. Having both is how you can be the most successful at the height of college sports.
Zach Greenwell, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here.
I'll get that number off here.
You can try.
We're brought to you by Shaw Mills Tire and Auto Service, ShawMillsTire.com, with locations all over South Louisiana. You can shop ShawMillsTire.com, ShawMillsTire.com to see all the great deals they have going on. I was texting with my buddy Martin over at Shaw Mills earlier today, and they got their kickoff special going on right now. I'm excited about it. Right now, Michelin and Toyo only. For the rest of August, buy 3, get the 4th free with a new or existing Shaw Mills card payment. Buy 3, get the 4th half off with any other form of payment. It's not a gimmick. It's not inflated pricing. It's just a great deal from Shaw Mills. It's a pre-Labor Day tire event. It is the kickoff special at Shaw Mills from tomorrow through the rest of August. ShawMillsTire.com. Shaw Mills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, y'all, it's after further review. We'll knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back and wrap up what's been a really busy day here, previewing the NILSU Max event inside of South Stadium Club at Tiger Stadium. We'll put a button on the show as the rain is cleared. I can see the sun off in the distance starting to set here. A beautiful night in the capital city. We'll wrap up the show when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Speaking of great NIL partners, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Get Gordon, get it done. Gordon was really the first LSU partner, or I should say NIL partner around the purple and gold back in 2021, and has just continued to support through NIL deals and the G team. And Gordon's always looking for creative ways to market. And certainly that includes now the Get Gordon Billboard Design Competition, the 3rd year in a row that they've done this. You can win up to $2,000 in prizes. Gordon and his team will make a donation to the charity of your choice. And, of course, if you win, you can see your billboard all over town and all over the state. So go to getgordon.com. You'll see the billboards tab right on the top, or you can type in getgordon.com/billboards. Or go to any of the social media at Get Gordon, at Get Gordon, at Get Gordon. You'll see the Get Gordon Billboards competition link right there. Get creative and get Gordon and get it done.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by, as you heard there, Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, right there on Drusilla in Baton Rouge. There's really 3 entities there. It's Goodwood, it's Unique Physique, and now Unique Aesthetics. Of course, Goodwood is the men's clinic. Unique Physique is where you can do the GLP-1s, right? Semaglutide, tirzepatide, the weight loss injections you hear so much about. And then Unique Aesthetics, the new aesthetic clinic, all the different laser treatments, all the different therapies, body contouring, all state-of-the-art, truly remarkable. If you haven't seen it, check it out. $8 a unit Botox. That's just across the board. $8 a unit at Unique Aesthetics. So check it out. And, of course, from if it's ED treatments, if it's hormone replacement therapy, if it's all the different peptides we've talked about, like I take NAD Plus and BPC 157. They've been remarkable results for me. Live your optimal life. They can help. Yourgoodwood.com. Yourgoodwood.com. It's been a really good day. Jimmy is on a plane, so we do not have Otter Locks here on air, but they are posted over at LouisianaSports.net. I'll run through them very quickly, so if you want to get your betting app out, get your DraftKings app, Here you go. 3 baseball plays from the Otter here tonight. It's got St. Louis Cardinals on the money line plus 101. Tampa Bay, the Rays on the money line, laying $1.23, and the Kansas City Royals minus $1.27. So again, your 3 plays tonight, all money line plays in baseball. You got the Cardinals, the Rays, and the Royals. Again, you can always get them for free at LouisianaSports.net. And everything is always free over at LouisianaSports.net. Had tip Ross Jackson, who's done an awesome job covering the Saints for us, now into his 2nd year covering the Saints for us at LouisianaSports.net. But Ross has been on the beat there in New Orleans for some time. But he's got the Saints recap there today. We'll have Hunt Palmer's 5 most indispensable players are there. Tons of great stuff up at LouisianaSports.net. And as always, it's free at LouisianaSports.net. If you missed anything on today's show, thanks to Mary Claire Logue, Taylor Jacobs, Zach Greenwell, all from LSU who joined us. We're here. Maybe you're just knocking off work, jumping in the car, We're here at the South Stadium Club at Tiger Stadium for this NILSU Max event. All the LSU coaches are going to be here, and it's a very big opportunity as you've heard throughout the day today, as LSU continues to try to navigate these waters in third-party NIL, as we're in a new rev share era. So everyone's trying to figure out, okay, if you have the $20.5 million, how do you build on top of that $20.5 million? And true NIL, third-party NIL, is what everyone's trying to figure out, and that's what this is here for. So again, if you're a business, you're interested in helping LSU win and learning more about NIL, true NIL opportunities with student-athletes, this is a great event to be at. If you can't be here tonight, make sure you contact Mary Claire Logue or Taylor Jacobs through the LSU website to get some more information. All right, this is going to do it for us. Muse Pauly, thanks back in studio. Appreciate it. Alondra here on site. Thank you so much, Bo Wegman, as well. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
After further review.
As we get on down the road, remind you about our friends over at Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters as well. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, vinyl siding. They do it all. They do it better than anyone. It's Relief Windows. And when I say that, I mean it sincerely because I've lived it. When Eric and I bought our first home, we hired Brandon Holly and the gang at Relief Windows to come install a replacement window in Drew's bedroom because he was facing the street in that house that we lived in. We wanted to reduce the noise. So we had a noise-canceling window, a soundproof window installed there. When we bought the home we're in now, one of the first things we did, we had Brandon come in. We had this big, beautiful den with this wall of windows, but it got very hot in that room. So they installed their energy-efficient replacement windows, floor-to-ceiling picture windows. Not only did it beautify that area, but it made it more energy efficient. I'm a customer. You'll be thrilled as well. Check them out, reliefwindows.com.